Against the backdrop of the Wels' brilliant media strategy, Charles and Camilla find themselves at the center of alternating scandals, which increasingly drag the royal family to the brink of ruin. While the Prince and Princess of Wales happily enjoy their cozy Anmer Hall, completely different, distressing news emerges from the royal palace. Camilla, accustomed to luxurious spa treatments and domestic whims, suddenly withdraws due to an infection, while Charles takes on the dubious role of an environmental advocate, albeit continuing to earn millions from mines and wind farms. New allegations against the king and the prince bring to light dirty details of their financial manipulations, while Camilla herself tries to hide from the prying eyes of the press. Don't miss this dramatic episode in the life of the British Crown. All the details in our video. Let's start with Kate. You may have seen the recent photos from the Welsh family's brief vacation at their Anmer Hall. Kate appeared refreshed and rejuvenated, wearing a sporty Adidas outfit. However, this turned out to be fake. No new photos were taken. It was simply a collage with an old picture of Catherine. Bloggers writing about her are spreading the fake images online. Yes, the Welsh family did indeed enjoy a nature retreat at their country home, and no events are planned for either Prince William or Catherine until November. This is because their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, are on their autumn break. Often, information about where William, Kate, and their children spent their holiday surfaces with a delay. For example, fans only learned through a Christmas card that the family spent their school holidays in Jordan. Regarding the current situation, there is information that the family vacationed at Anmer Hall in Norfolk. William has not provided precise details about their getaway, but they often fly there by helicopter. Overseas vacations are not possible right now because Catherine is undergoing treatment for cancer, but walks through the autumn woods are beneficial for them all. The children love the Norfolk home for several reasons. Their ponies and other cute animals live there, and there's also a birdhouse and a small vegetable garden. In addition, there's a nearby adventure park with slides, wooden forts, and paintball. The large Georgian-style mansion is surrounded by parklands on the Sandringham estate, making it ideal for seclusion. The family also has access to a swimming pool, tennis court, trampoline, and a children's playhouse in the garden. According to a royal insider, it's like a luxurious farmhouse with a friendly family atmosphere without formalities. Recently, Prince William confirmed on social media that the family shares a common hobby: watching football matches. If they can't go to the stadium during the holidays, William watches the games on TV with the kids. Next to their house is the Middleton family home, and the grandmother and grandfather often visit to play and stroll with the grandchildren. In case of a sudden deterioration in Catherine's condition, nearby Sandringham, a royal residence, is equipped with a medical ward for Charles and Kate, with doctors on hand. For now, everything is fine. Kate looks quite well, albeit noticeably thinner. Strolls along the nearby beaches and forests are beneficial for her. After this, William traveled to Africa, but before leaving, he spent time with his wife and children during their school break, which ended last Sunday. However, there are no new photos of the princess. Currently, a new investigative film about the finances of King Charles and the heir to the British crown, Prince William, is generating much discussion. The film reveals details about their income from land and property rentals, with Charles earning over £24 million annually and William over £23 million. This is only a fraction of their actual earnings, which include unaccounted profits from tourism, exhibitions, sales of replicas of royal jewelry, souvenirs, and even royal jam, not to mention investments. The British media have seriously turned their attention to the Windsors, exposing how the current monarch and his heir receive their annual millions, growing rich at the expense of ordinary people. Prince William does not pay tax on the Duchy of Cornwall, yet receives income from rent paid by charities, schools, the military, hospitals, public toilets, and even Dartmoor Prison. Now the royal press has reported that environmental charities have come into conflict with King Charles, despite his being their patron. This is because Charles stands to receive enormous profits from the Woodsmith potash mine in the Duchy of Lancaster. According to The Sun, the proposed mine will be the largest in the world, and once operational, it will yield Charles billions in revenue since he will receive a 2.5% profit from the sale of minerals, amounting to £256,000 annually. However, two charities, ironically also under Charles's patronage, have protested the mine's operations. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds and the Campaign to Protect Rural England have stated that the potash mining will negatively impact wildlife habitats and reduce tourism, while the heavy trucks and potash extraction will pollute the duchy's water ecosystem. However, the king, in his role as an environmental advocate, is not deterred by this. Moreover, Charles intends to increase his profits further through gypsum mining, despite the objections. Charles is also set to receive £4 million from a deal selling gypsum extraction rights beneath the ground near the England team training base at St. George's Park in Staffs. Writes The Sun. The Football Association, of which Prince William is a patron, had previously opposed this, stating that the mining could lead to the collapse of fields. However, an investigation by dispatches on Channel 4 and the Sunday Times revealed that Charles will still earn at least £28 million from wind farms due to the feudal right to charge for laying cables on lands owned by the Duchy of Lancaster. In other words, Charles and William earn from renting out their extensive estates and are exempt from paying taxes on this income. William's team claimed that the heir decided to pay taxes voluntarily, but they flatly refused to disclose the paid amount. The film was enough to see Camilla disappear from view starting Sunday. She does not wish to smile for the press. Charles appeared a little lost when he attended a church service without his wife. Meanwhile, William has not yet responded to accusations that his properties could potentially solve homelessness issues, and that the rented properties on his lands are in poor condition but are highly priced. He is busy interacting and playing rugby with schoolchildren in Cape Town. What surprised viewers most about the film was the revelation that the king and the prince collect personal income from rents on properties, such as ambulance garages and land under hospitals and even prisons. This involves substantial sums, yet the palace remains unresponsive. Angela Levin, participating in a lively discussion on the major royal financial scandal on GB News, remarked that one cannot forget that both Charles and William spend millions on charitable projects. A little earlier, a piece came out highlighting the understated luxury in the daily life of Camilla and the monarch. Camilla is quite particular about certain things. Each room must have an expensive match holder and an equally expensive ashtray, while pillows and carpets are treated with special products and fragrances. The staff must be ready and standing at attention several minutes before her arrival, and heaven forbid anyone is late to open a gate or car door for her. While all of this fits within the daily royal ritual, Camilla did not appreciate the leakage of information from her quarters. Meanwhile, her son Tom Parker Bowles, who published a book about royal culinary routines and the food preferences of the king and queen, ventured into numerous personal digressions from the recipes. For example, the culinary critic claims that Charles is the most amazing and wise man he's ever met. However, such praises haven't helped sell his book. Even his mother, the Queen, cannot assist in that regard. Additionally, there are renewed talks about the strained relationship between Camilla and Katherine. The current Queen does not communicate with the future Queen. The reason for this is the continual belittling of the Middleton family while elevating the Parker Bowles family. We remember that William and Katherine did not curtsy to Camilla at Charles's coronation. At that time, there was significant backstage controversy over how it came to be that many non-royal relatives, including Camilla's ex-husband, her children, friends, and relatives, were prominently present at the coronation and received prestigious seats. This deeply affected Katherine and William, and they had to strive to ensure that Kate's family was reasonably well represented. Camilla is also unapologetic about making snide remarks and giving nicknames to Prince Harry in the presence of family and staff. Despite enduring her own share of difficulties with Meghan Markle and the Spare, Katherine reportedly had a disagreement when she asked the Queen to stop insulting Harry. It is said that the conversation was conducted calmly and with dignity, but Camilla ceased communication with the princess afterward. Unlike her husband and Camilla, Katherine has become deeply devout, which amuses Camilla. A special episode on the royal program addressed this, and writer Hardman reports that during her treatment, Katherine dedicated a lot of time to prayers and interaction with priests and monks. However, they try not to publicize this as William is concerned about his wife's growing religiosity. He himself remains skeptical about religion and only attends services when it's official business. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the latest updates. So what about Camilla? Queen Camilla has withdrawn from engagements this week due to a chest infection, Buckingham Palace has announced. The Duchess of Gloucester will stand in for Camilla at the annual opening of the Fields of Remembrance at Westminster Abbey on Thursday. She has also stepped back from attending a reception at Buckingham Palace for Olympic and Paralympic athletes, which will be hosted by King Charles III that same evening. A senior palace aide mentioned that the Queen is currently resting at home as advised by her doctor, but hopes to recover in time for the memorial events over the weekend. On Saturday, family members are expected to attend the Festival of Remembrance at the Royal Albert Hall to honor those lost in conflict and celebrate service in the armed forces. On Sunday, King Charles III will lead the wreath-laying ceremony at the Cenotaph in London, typically attended by the Queen and other royal family members, including the Prince and Princess of Wales. No other details about Camilla's illness or treatment have been disclosed, but she remains under medical supervision. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson stated, "Her Majesty the Queen is unwell due to a respiratory infection, with doctors recommending some rest. With great regret, Her Majesty is unable to fulfill her duties this week, but is hopeful for a speedy recovery to attend the Remembrance Day events as planned over the weekend. She apologizes for any inconvenience or disappointment this may cause." The 77-year-old Queen has been a focal point of the royal family for several months after the King was hospitalized in January for an enlarged prostate, followed weeks later by a cancer diagnosis. 75-year-old Charles took a leave of absence from royal duties but returned in April, continuing weekly treatments. Late last month, the King and Queen concluded a 9-day trip to Australia and Samoa. On their way back, the couple stopped in India to unwind at the luxurious Sukhya Spa in Bangalore, renowned for its yoga and wellness programs and Ayurvedic treatments. Last week, it was revealed that the King and Queen will visit Italy in their first major tour in 2025, as Charles aims to make up for lost time. The royal couple plans to travel to Rome and hopes to meet with the Pope at the Vatican. They will travel on behalf of the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, representing the United Kingdom, and their schedule is designed to strengthen post-Brexit relations between the two countries. Buckingham Palace had previously announced that following the successful tour to Australia and Samoa, the King would return to a full schedule next year. Despite ongoing cancer treatments, royal doctors have given the monarch the green light to start planning for the future, boosting his spirits. There's a lot of conflicting information about King Charles right now. Publication of new excerpts from Robert Hardman's book, Charles, the New King, the New Court, sheds light on events happening behind the palace walls, not just this year but before the new monarch's coronation. Charles announced his condition in February this year, but according to a palace source cited by the author, Charles faced this terrible illness even before he became the monarch. It's worth noting that Robert Hardman is someone whom the King and Queen trust greatly and allow their friends and insiders to share necessary information. This means if Hardman is revealing details about Charles's health, he has top-level approval to do so. Cancer is a very frightening word, whether you're a king or not. It's a huge shock. But Charles is exceptionally skilled at keeping everything under control. A source confided to Robert Hardman, "How are we planning to deal with this?" He has made it clear that he will continue to fulfill all constitutional duties just as before. This suggests that Charles was aware of his diagnosis, yet still chose to take the risk and ascend to the throne, planning an elaborate coronation and subsequent changes in the country, including the renewal of the royal cipher, monogram, coat of arms, and other symbols on items in the palace, royal transport, currency, documents, and signage throughout the nation. Furthermore, a former team member who worked with him since he was Prince of Wales revealed that the king indeed faced a cancer scare a few years ago, as noted by the biographer in his book. Considering he collaborated for decades with various cancer organizations and charities as a prince, he was a patient with a deeper understanding of the disease than most. Cancer affects millions, and Charles's honesty on the matter has helped raise awareness. When you know the king has cancer, it allows every cancer patient to feel connected to him, an insider told Hardman. If we specified exactly what type of cancer he has, others with different diagnoses might feel less connected to him. If part of the point here is for him to share his story, then it's better to be as many things to as many people as possible. It's uncertain whether regular people affected by this disease will feel a connection with the king, given the disparities in access to treatment, care, and resources, as well as the ability to choose whether to work or to focus on self-care and recovery with meditation and spa treatments on Indian retreats. According to insiders, the king does not intend to yield to the illness, resign, or lock himself away in a castle waiting for the end. He intends to reign like his mother, Queen Elizabeth, did in her final years. This may lead him to reevaluate his life. Charles has decided to remove the word empire from royal honors due to its associations with a colonial past, which is quite unusual for him. It seems Prince William isn't the only one concerned with modernizing the monarchy. King Charles has decided to implement radical changes and discard all attributes of Britain's colonial past. This means royal honors and awards will no longer include the word empire, a term that distresses Commonwealth countries due to its associations with the slave trade. Now, recipients of the Order of the British Empire can opt for the Order of Elizabeth or the Order of British Excellence instead. However, traditional colonial-era titles, Knight, Dame, will remain available should anyone choose to accept them. These innovations were decided upon by the king after he faced demands for reparations and apologies for the slave trade. Any changes are up to the government, but I think it will find the monarchy quite open to the idea, stated a senior courtier. However, the source emphasized that palace officials consider the Order of the British Empire outdated and irrelevant, with the term empire casting a shadow on the history of modern Britain. During his visit to Samoa, King Charles spoke at the Commonwealth Leaders Summit, where he rejected the idea of paying reparations or issuing apologies to countries affected by colonial Britain. Instead, he stated that it is crucial to learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to find the right ways to address this issue. None of us can change the past, but we can wholeheartedly strive to learn its lessons, the king said in his speech. Historically, there have always been individuals who found it inappropriate to accept the Order of the British Empire. Some artists and other well-known figures in the United Kingdom have refused this honor due to its associations with the slave trade. For example, poet Benjamin Zephaniah, whose parents hail from the Caribbean, declined the order in 2003 due to the word empire. I get angry when I hear the word empire. It reminds me of slavery, Zephaniah said. It is also known that actor Alan Cumming declined the order last year over concerns about its connection to the toxicity of the empire. Meanwhile, Camilla is reportedly alarmed by Charles's work plans. The couple's tour of Australia was a challenging ordeal. The king's treatment was paused, the schedule was shortened, and stress from certain politicians and protesters didn't aid the health of the elderly monarch. Insiders say Camilla tried to remain upbeat, but by the end of the tour, her nerves were frayed, and she found it difficult to keep her composure. A friend of Camilla shared that it had been a terrible year for the king's wife. Commenting on the Queen's trip to Australia and Samoa, with insecurities and public expressions of laughter and tears, someone close to Camilla noted, "It's strange to say, but I think Camilla had an emotional reaction. Of course she would. She's terrified. They've had a terrible year. Now that she's back to work, she's understandably worried that her husband is rushing things. She just wants him to settle down and focus on his health." According to her friend, Camilla is frightened by her husband's plans to embark on extensive tours again next year. A senior Buckingham Palace source recently confirmed that Charles wants to return to his usual work schedule, which means Camilla will need to accompany him to many events. We are currently working on what seems like a normal-looking full foreign tour schedule for next year, and it's a big relief to complete it, knowing we can think in these terms, said the palace source. His Majesty's desire to get back to work is an excellent indication of how he's coping with his cancer diagnosis. He firmly believes in the mind-body-soul connection, and this combination works well during such visits because he has a strong sense of duty. It's hard to overstate the joy he derives from fulfilling his duty and serving, being in public, and seeing how people engage with groups from all walks of life. This truly uplifts him. You can see it for yourself. Reports suggest that Camilla is horrified at Charles's eagerness to return to work. She believes it's time for him, and consequently for her, to slow down and take care of their health. Camilla's friend noted that the king's comments about his desire to return to Samoa soon led to a very emotional reaction from his wife, who believes such tours are detrimental to Charles's health. Any activity involving trips to third-world countries, the Commonwealth, and interactions with indigenous communities carries the risk of mental and physical strain. Moreover, insiders also claim that interactions with Prince Harry are similarly stressful for Camilla, leading to alleged reports that the king avoids answering his son's calls and messages. With the controversies and scandals surrounding the royal family, we can't help but wonder, what will be the outcome for the British monarchy? Share your opinion in the comments below. Do you think Charles and Camilla will be able to overcome these challenges and regain public trust? Be sure to like this post if you're interested in news about the royal family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest events. We appreciate your engagement and look forward to your responses.